When the galaxy welcomed its first human exchange students, they expected trouble. Maybe even violence. But instead of weapons, humanity brought something far more disruptive: pranks. And what started as harmless college mischief nearly toppled interstellar politics. This is the story of how humans made the galaxy laugh, whether it wanted to or not. When humanity was finally admitted into the galactic concord, the galaxy braced itself for chaos. Our history was bloody, our politics unstable, and our technology erratic at best. But the Concord believed in integration, in exposing young civilizations to shared culture and knowledge. And so, as a gesture of goodwill, they accepted the very first batch of human exchange students into the prestigious Orion Academy of Higher Knowledge. Dozens of species had been studied there for centuries, but none had ever encountered humans in a classroom. The galaxy expected warlike tempers, disruptive aggression, maybe even a fistfight or two. What they got instead was pranks. It started small. A group of Terran college students decided to loosen up their classmates. They noticed that the alien species around them were stiff, overly formal, and, frankly, boring. The first prank was harmless. A rubber cockroach slipped into the food tray of an Zerati student. When the insect-shaped toy jumped out with a squeak, the Zerati screamed so loudly that 3 security drones rushed in, convinced there was a biological contamination. To the humans, it was hilarious. To the Zerati, it was utterly incomprehensible. "Why, would you simulate danger for amusement?" they asked, trembling. The humans laughed. "Because it's funny." And that was the first crack in the Concord's carefully maintained sense of order. You see, no alien civilization had ever developed the concept of a practical joke. They had humor, yes, but it was intellectual, wordplay, philosophy, irony. Laughter was reserved for cleverness, not absurdity. The idea of deliberately tricking someone for the sake of shared amusement was alien. And the more the humans realized this, the more they leaned into it. One morning, an entire dormitory woke to find its doors glued shut with some concoction the humans called duct tape. Professors arrived to see 24 alien students poking uselessly at their sealed rooms, demanding explanations. The humans filmed everything. Next came whoopee cushions, discreetly slipped onto the seats in lecture halls. Initially, the staff suspected a biological malfunction among the students. Medical teams were called. Reports were filed. By the time they realized it was a device, the humans were already distributing them for free. The pranks escalated quickly. The humans filled one professor's office with thousands of brightly colored balloons. They rewired the cafeteria's drink dispensers to serve pudding instead of water. They convinced a group of Valthorians that the Academy had a secret, mandatory pajama day, and nearly the entire species arrived to class in sleepwear. To the humans, this was all innocent fun. To the Concord, it was destabilization. You see, many alien societies operated on ritual seriousness. Authority was sacred. Respect was unquestioned. There was no cultural framework for harmless mischief. So when professors were tricked, when ambassadors were pranked, when entire lecture halls descended into laughter, the galaxy began to panic. Reports spread beyond the Academy. Human exchange students are deceivers, claimed one diplomat. They stage false crises for amusement. They simulate social collapse for fun. Another senator ranted, "If these students can manipulate our brightest minds with such ease, imagine what they could do in politics or war." Governments began holding emergency sessions to discuss the Terran psychological weapon. Some demanded that human students be expelled. Others argued they should be studied. A few even accused Earth of launching a covert cultural attack. Meanwhile, the students just laughed. "We're not attacking anyone, it's just a prank, bro." The breaking point came during the annual Unity Festival. Each species was supposed to present a cultural demonstration: song, dance, philosophy, art. The humans prepared what they called a harmless joke. When the lights dimmed, a human student strode onto the stage with a solemn expression. He announced that Earth had developed a new weapon, a device capable of rendering any technology useless. The audience gasped. Security bristled. Governments whispered of sabotage. Then the human pressed a button. And every alien in the hall jumped as a deafening air horn blasted through the speakers. The students erupted in laughter. The crowd did not. Panic rippled through the chamber. Ambassadors stormed out. The chancellor of the academy nearly fainted. To them, this was not comedy, it was terrorism. The next morning, the humans were summoned before the Concord Tribunal. "Do you deny," asked the chancellor, "that you staged simulated threats to destabilize our academy?" "Simulated threats," one student laughed. "Dude, it was just an air horn." The tribunal stared blankly. Another student tried to explain. "It's like, we make people think something serious is happening, but then it turns out it's silly. The surprise is funny." The judges exchanged nervous glances. "You deliberately manufacture false crises." "Yeah," the human said proudly. "It's called a prank." Silence fell. One elderly alien finally asked, "And you enjoy this?" "Of course." The tribunal recessed for 7 hours. Word spread like wildfire. Not about human aggression. Not about human violence. But about this new, bizarre cultural practice, the prank. Alien youth across the galaxy began experimenting. They slipped cushions under the seats. They glued doors shut. They swapped signs. They faked messages from their professors. Entire governments were thrown into confusion when pranksters convinced ministers to wear mismatched uniforms or deliver speeches in the wrong language. The older generations were horrified. The younger ones were thrilled. For the first time in centuries, rigid societies were cracking, not from war, but from laughter. And all because of a handful of human college students. The tribunal eventually expelled the students from the academy. Officially, the ruling declared, Terran cultural expressions present unacceptable risks to interspecies stability. But it was too late. The damage, or perhaps the gift, was done. Because across the galaxy, aliens had discovered something they'd never known before, the joy of harmless mischief. Years later, historians would argue that humanity didn't destabilize the Concord with weapons or with politics. We destabilized it with pranks. With laughter. And when aliens look back on the moment humanity joined the stars, they don't remember our wars or our technology. They remember the rubber cockroach. The Concord thought we were dangerous. They weren't wrong. But not because of our weapons, because of our humor. The galaxy had no word for prank until they met us. And now, it will never forget it. If you enjoyed this light-hearted HFY story, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more tales of humanity's mischief among the stars.